Hello, listener. Thank you for joining me today. This is the Wise Finances Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you can level up your money in 2021 to make real money moves. First, we have to start off like this is a new year and, New Year's resolutions, and you gotta like create financial goals. Financial goals are really key to identify like what do you really want to accomplish in this year. First you want to make sure your financial goals are smart, right? Smart goals being that they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're realistic, and they're timeable, right? You can put a set time to it. Um, and these goals are key, right? These will keep you grounded. Can help keep you motivated. Uh, Usually, when you're making financial goals, sometimes we get so wrapped up in the number. So, say for instance, is your goal is, I want to save, $5,000 this year. And that's important. Like that's great. Like you want to make sure like you have that number associated to it, But what's really key is really focusing on those leading indicators, right? Those things that you can control. You can control um, how you spend your money, right? You can control what you do or do not do. You can control if you say no or yes to obligations, and that's like a perfect key where sometimes we're all like into the numbers and we're all into like you got to get it, you got to get this $5,000. We don't sit back and think about the little steps to actually get there, right? So if we stick with the example of like someone wanting to save $5,000 in a year, it's going to be more crucial for them to actually lay out, hey, I noticed that I go to Starbucks every morning on my way to work. Instead, I'm not going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to make my coffee at home, or I'm going to get it at the office, whatever the case may be. That behavior is what's going to actually help you achieve your goal, because you are making a decision um, to get in front of that, right? You're making a decision to notice something that you can actually change. Where it's like, instead of saying like, okay, I want to save $5,000 and I'm going to make more money, I'm going to do overtime. Like that might not be in your control. You might not have the power to grant yourself overtime. Be, in that position, right? So you can still have that same goal, but the drive is going to be different when you put your focus more onto what you can control rather than things that are like circumstantial, or things that you might not control, or like they like to say, that are like the lagging indicators. So it's really key. So step one, like definitely getting those financial goals, creating those smart goals, and keeping yourself accountable to them and others around you. With goals, it's so important to let others know your goals, because when you are straying or having down times, but the people around you, your inner circle, they know what you want to accomplish, they know what you want to achieve, they're going to help you, stick to it, and vice versa. If you know their goals, you're going to help them stick to their goals. So always, each year, every new year, create financial goals, whether they're just one or they're multiple ones you want to achieve in that year. It's so helpful to do that, and then also making just making sure, right, you have that timeline, and you start thinking about how you're going to actually get to it. The second money move you definitely want to make is cash is queen. And I say that by saying that it is important to have a savings. I think in this pandemic, we definitely see how important it is to save. And as as crazy as it sounds, most Americans actually, don't have enough saved for $1,000 emergency, and that definitely has to change. So you definitely want to make sure, if you don't have at least $1,000 saved, stop what you're doing, cancel everything, cancel Netflix, cancel the gym, and really prioritizing saving, and saving it and putting it away, and not touching it. There's awesome like automations you can do with your different check-ins accounts. There's apps like Digits, Q Capital, where you can, set it weekly goals, bi-weekly, match it up with your pay stubs, paydays. So it's really, really key, to always have that security, because like we don't know, things are not always promised. Like we don't know with job stability and anything like that. So you definitely want to make sure, as we can see too, the government is literally in battles constantly about how much money the American people deserve, which is so crazy, to just see that, right? Like Congress can't even get straight on how much they think that we deserve. 600, 1,200, 2,000. It's so disappointing to see, but that is on a whole other side note. But really, really, truly, truly prioritize your savings. Like I said, cash is queen. Cash is must have. So you definitely, definitely want to always have access to cash, for those true emergencies. The next thing you want to do to really level up in 2021 is add to your retirement counts. Um, each quarter, you can continue to increase this gradually, or you could set a parameter. You can also have it just pulled out, deducted automatically out of your check. Definitely, if your employer has a match program, which just basically means that they will put money into what they will match the amount of money you put into your own 401k, 3B plan. Basically, this is like 100% return on your money. So if you gonna put in 5% and then they match that 5%, that's literally like doubling your money. So it's so key to protect ourselves, our future selves. Like we know, like life is so uncertain. So who's to say if you'll have the means or the ability um to even work to earn money, in your older age, right? So now you want to do is, always to be thinking about your future self. So really maximizing your retirement count. If you don't get a 401k, because I know there are some employers that don't offer that, that is okay. It's called a IRA, so individual retirement account. And then there's also one that I definitely recommend people all to have, which is a Roth IRA, which is basically where each year you can contribute up to $6,000, and you will have that money be it's tax free. So that's great. You definitely, even if you don't have an employer, you still have ways and means to prepare for retirement. So definitely want to make sure we get the retirement counts rolling, increased, maximizing both 401k, Roth IRAs, whatever you have. Definitely want to make sure contributing to our future income. Next, we want to do your money moves in 2021 is check your credit. Fraud is real, y'all, out here. It is crazy. And this sadly really does happen. When a lot of time of need, unemployment is up. So you definitely want to be checking your credit, daily. There's like Credit Karma app, free annual credit report where you can check your credit report about 4 times for free this year. Yeah, there's also like apps like within the different banking side. So if you have a Discover has their own platform. I know Chase has their own platform. Capital One has their own platform as well. Sign up for it. Sign up for as many as you can, um, because you want to know any accounts, any inquiries that are happening on your credit. If you are not using your credit at the moment, might make sense for you to basically freeze your credit. So freezing your credit just means that there cannot be an inquiry or account added to your account without your knowledge. So they literally have to contact you to verify everything that's being pulled on your credit. So highly, 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 highly recommend this if you're not, you're not looking to add any, credit cards or looking for home purchases, and there's no need for your credit to be full. Definitely make sure you get your credit freeze. you know Automate your finances. um, this is just basically makes managing your money easy. If you're a person who forgets a lot, or you get late charges because you forgot to pay a bill, or you have some of those quarterly bills that don't come out every month but they pop up and it's like you didn't really plan for it. um, this is why automating your finances will be so good for you, because you actually will know what's coming out. Actually, for students, people who are starting off, I always recommend that, hey, have two checkings accounts. Have one checking account that's really just geared to your bills, so anything that's monthly recurrence, quarterly recurrence, that's a set amount. So rent, you have internet bill, cell phone bill, have that come into one checking account. And then you have another checking account which is really for your discretionary spending, right? The spending that varies. That's the food, that's the going out, that's the shopping. um, that you can have another account just for that, so you don't have to worry about like money, you spending money out of your bills account, because all your bills on are on auto pay, or you have them taken out straight from that banker, as auto pay, as well as, I can't think of the system right now, but when you're in the bank and the payee, yes, like you have a system with that banking. So you put that payee from your bank and they pay it straight from there. You could totally do that. So I definitely recommend just automating your finances. And automating your finances like definitely doesn't mean ignore your finances. Even if you do have auto pay, you always want to just be checking, making sure that you're getting charged the right amount, making sure that there's not any double fees or extra charges, because it definitely mistakes happen. So you want to make sure that if not a dime extra that's coming out your checking account is not an extra need or anything like that. So yeah, we definitely want to make sure we want to get to automating our finances in 2021. This is really big, and this is really for my listeners who are parents, who have people depend on them. Get yourself a life insurance and policy. Death is happening, right? Like it's going to happen, and it's crazy to think, and I know it's kind of scary to like plan for that, but you don't want your life, you losing your life to be a burden on the people that you love. So definitely get yourself a life insurance policy. If you do not, the recommended goal is to have a policy that is about at least 10 times your annual salary. So yeah, definitely. If I know a lot of people have one at their work, but this is something you should, that's great that you have one at your employer, but you should just have your own policy, because who knows, jobs are not promised, as we see so far. So you don't want that to be your only source of life insurance for your family. So definitely get yourself a policy. There's policyfinder.com, a great resource. You can see what type of policy that makes sense for you and your family. Get a side hustle. Everyone needs a side hustle. um, Sell things you don't use. What's one man's trash is another man's treasure. Look around, as the new year, maybe decluttering, maybe getting ready to move. What are some things that you could just sell, make profitable? um you've been thinking about that craft you have, that hobby that you love. You might love arts and crafts. Think about how you can monetize it. Think about how you can sell it or make money. Or if not, just even if you're not thinking about the money about it, just think about how you want to launch it. Just do it. I think sometimes we just get in our heads. I know I've definitely have been the victim of this, right? We get so much in our head that we never actually just do it. So definitely in 2021, commit to that passion project, commit to that side hustle, because you just never know what will happen. You never know what will take off. You might get so much joy from it that that's all that matters. There are also, side hustles, making more income, just straight through your phone. We have, the DoorDash, the Postmates, the delivery services, the Ubers, that's, always there, easy to sign up, easy to join. Um, and even if it's not something you want to do long term, you only do it for a short term for a certain cause, that's okay. That's totally fine. But definitely find that side hustle that matters to you. The last level up advice I have for you all today is the best one. So it should have really been the first one. But thanks for sticking around and listening to the last one. Prioritize you. Um, Self-care is so important, and you need to have the energy, the strength to achieve, your goals, to, to do what you have to do, you know, to get up and go to work and, provide for yourself, provide for your family. So in order for you to get anywhere where you're going, you got to make sure, like they say on a plane, you got to put your own oxygen mask on, right? You got to put your own seatbelt on when you get in the car. So exactly, like, make sure that you as the individual are good. Like, that is key. That is so key. So if that means, meditation, that means yoga, if that means reading, like whatever makes you happy, prioritize that. That is something, and that is something, even um as you're making financial goals, prioritize your self-care. you know if self-care is needed. So if you have a particular self-care that costs funds, that is okay. That is totally fine. You make that something that you value, right? So making sure that it shows up in your budget, right? It shows up in your goals, right? Because that's what's going to make you achieve all the other things. If you're paying off debt, or if you're saving for small expenses or saving for large expenses, trying to buy a home, whatever it is, um, it's okay to make sure that you still have the things that you need. Subscribe, follow, leave a comment down. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at wisefinances_. I appreciate your time, and I will see you next week. This is the Wise Finances Podcast.